So I was procrastinating on some tasks that I didn't want to do this week, and I thought, do you know what? AI automation sounds fun to me. That's my version of a fun task, because I guess I'm a bit of a geek like that. And so I've started using Make, and then it occurred to me that this is amazing because it actually works, and I wondered if everybody's not using this, and if they are not, then there's probably some cool stuff. So I'm just going to share exactly what I set up during the course of this week. So if you don't know, make.com, it's similar to Zapier, but I think it's cheaper. I pay $10 a month and I get 10,000 credits. So it's working incredibly well for me. But basically, it has a load of connections with web applications. I think there's thousands of them. So what can happen is something happens on one web application, then it's like a domino effect. So when something happens here, you can set up an automation that other applications do things as well. This will become clearer as I go through this example, but that's how I would describe it in layman's terms. So what I've got set up is this automation with Webflow. So my website, news website, is built on Webflow. And so what this is doing, this lightning icon means that it's going to, make.com is going to monitor whenever anything changes on Webflow that corresponds to the event that I've set up. And then when that thing happens, it's going to do the rest of the things in the sequence. So in this example, whenever we publish a new article, what make.com is then going to do is it's going to pull a load of information from that article. Then it's actually going to split off, and we've got two separate actions that are going to take place after that. So articles published, it pulls information, and then we go into these two different directions. The first thing that happens is that it runs a prompt through Claude that we've put in here. So I've added a prompt here for exactly what we want to happen. And what we want Claude to do is to create 3 FAQs based on the article that we've published. So Claude's going to read it and decide, okay, these are 3 questions that people might have. And then for like SEO purposes, we're going to add that information onto the website, and it's going to get picked up through the schema, and Google's going to hopefully improve our rankings for news articles. That's the general idea. Not important, the schema bit, we won't touch on that for now, but that's essentially what's going to happen. Claude is going to write our FAQs. Then, after Claude has written his FAQs, and I'm not technical, I don't know what any of this stuff means, but I think Claude returns JSON. And so what we need to do is to make that JSON legible or write it in plain text afterwards, so that that plain text can automatically go to Webflow. And I don't know what's going on in here. This JSON parsing thing is a pre-built connector. So all I have to do is press like 3 buttons and then it's done. And I should say as well that I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. I didn't watch any YouTube videos or anything. All I was doing is I just picked my LLM of choice and tried to tell the LLM what I was trying to do and make. The first LLM actually didn't work, so then I went to another one. I used Gemini for this. No, I didn't. I know I started with Gemini, and then I used Claude, and Claude knew make.com a lot better from my explanations than Gemini did. And then I filled all this out using Claude. So he told me, he told me that I needed to do this JSON step. So anyway, after that's done, all this information, the FAQs pre-written, fantastic. That information then gets pulled right into Webflow. So that in my CMS, I can see all of the changes that Claude has made, those 3 new FAQs. It's not published. I can go in and manually approve it when we want to, which takes 2 seconds to do. And then the last step is that it just sends a Slack message confirming all of the 3 FAQs that it's written. So I can just quickly look in Slack. I don't even need to go into Webflow. I get that notification that it's all been done, which is awesome. And then the other thing that happens very quickly in this other scenario, this is very simple. This is just a spell check. So whenever we publish something here, this same process, Claude will just run a spell check. It will do the same thing. And then it will just notify us in Slack if there's anything that we need to change on the article itself. I guess the last step here could be we could do some sort of approval process saying, yes, go ahead and make the changes. And then we could get it to go and update Webflow for us automatically. So I thought this was really cool because it actually works. And I think there should be a load more tasks that we can automate. So I've got an amazing virtual assistant and she does things at times that are quite repetitive. So my plan now is that she's going to learn how to do all this stuff, or she's going to learn how to ask the LLMs how we set this stuff up in each case. And then she can just monitor the outputs instead of having to do everything manually. So perhaps there's something in your workflow or your team are doing that might benefit from something like this as well.